Hi, this is Daniel Scrivner here with a quick preview of our next 20-minute playbook episode, which comes out tomorrow. In it, I'm joined by Saad Alam, founder and CEO of Hone, which is creating an entirely new type of healthcare company, initially focused on helping men with low testosterone, or as Saad describes it, helping men age with confidence. Saad is a serial entrepreneur who founded 2 companies before he founded Hone. He's completely focused on building mission-driven companies that solve problems that have directly affected him. And he's probably one of the fittest guests I've ever had on the show. His daily routine, from morning meditation to the way he works out, how he changes personal trainers, how he uses everything from an infrared sauna to a hyperbaric chamber, is the most intense of anyone I've ever interviewed. This is one of my favorite episodes of all time. In tomorrow's episode, we'll cover Saad's daily health and fitness regimen, from drinking a full ounce of water directly after waking to why meditating 10 minutes just 2 times per day has been so transformational for him. We walk through all the equipment he uses and how he uses it, from his infrared sauna to an at-home hyperbaric chamber. Saad shares why he writes down 3 things he's grateful for every single morning and how that practice shows up when he's burnt out and tired at the end of the day, and being able to remind himself of why he's doing what he's doing. And so much more, including Saad's favorite books and the advice he'd give his younger self. Here's one of my favorite moments from our conversation. Tune in tomorrow to listen to the full episode. If you could go back to the start of your career and whisper some words of advice into your ear, what advice would you give your younger self, if you'd give any advice?
I spent a lot of time chasing after my parents' dreams for me because I didn't have the ability to think for myself at an early age, right? And that is like, young Pakistani boy, parents say you have to be a doctor. And so I said, great, how much does a doctor make? I'm going to go be a doctor. And so I spent years getting into an Ivy League med school. And literally, like, the day I got there, I was like, this is not what I want. And I went to go on and get 2 graduate degrees. I would have told my younger self, forget about college, forget about the graduate degrees. You were an entrepreneur since you were a kid. You proved it out throughout high school. You should have gone and started building a company immediately. That's not for everybody. It's very important. I'm not telling people to drop out of school. I'm just saying, for me, that's what I would have said. The other thing too is, I think that, for better or for worse, it took me a while to understand that all of the structures and the laws that we live within are created by a bunch of people. And honestly, most of those people aren't that smart, right? Like, for the people that actually make the laws and pass them. And so I think it took me a while to also understand that just because it's a law, or because someone says it's this way, the beauty of it is you don't have to do it that way. You actually have this thing called free will. And if you can come up with a better way that's not illegal or hurting anyone or yourself, you should be completely free to go ahead and kind of like work in a system that's in large part been prefabricated for everyone's safety. I think the other one is, when you're young, the FOMO is so real, right? You're like 21 years old, your friends are going out to the club, FOMO. And you're like, oh God. It's like all FOMO. It's just so real. And I would have told myself, like, forget the party. Listen, the party's going to be there. Focus on yourself. Focus on waking up earlier in the morning. I wish I'd bought property early. I know that's a silly one too, but like, when you're younger, you don't think about those things. But the people I know that have bought property earlier and built a portfolio, by the time they're 30 or 35, they're not working and they can go chase after whatever makes them happy. I think that's a really important one. I didn't build an audience as fast as I would have liked to. And I think in large part that came from fear that if I build an audience and no one comes, I'll look like a real chump. And I think that I've had to get over that fear. And I'm just at the beginning of that journey right now. And then I think that the other important thing is, I can't stand when people used to always tell me, you can't have it all. You can only have 1 or 2 or 3 of those things, until I came to the realization that if I construct a life that is very purposeful, you can have it all, right? I'm building the company of my dreams, solving the problem that I'm deeply in love with. I have my best friends and my family working directly with me. I've gone through a lot of, I would say, like, trials and tribulations, learning how to get that right. I get to see my mom, my girl, my family all the time. And so I would say that, like, emotionally, I'm incredibly fulfilled. Professionally, I'm incredibly fulfilled. And I think that people that don't believe you can do it all, I think it's a load. And I think you just have to really sit down and engineer your day and your life a little bit more.